All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kris Wallace's album party for Roads. This is a great album. If you have a CD player, there are CDs on the table. They are free. The t-shirts are not. They're $15. So if you'll grab one of those, you can pay for it through PayPal, Venmo, all of the. Also, if you want to find his all the rest of his music, Spotify and all of the normal channels that you'll go through, you can find his music out there. So, ladies and gentlemen, Kris Wallace.
Thank you all so very much for coming out tonight. I really appreciate it. This album was really fun to make, but the concept behind it is, sorry, hold on. That's fine. Screw it. The concept behind it was focusing on my strengths and not my weaknesses, all the different roads that I had to take in my life and my childhood and stuff. But with all the craziness going on in the world right now, I'm still trying to focus on the good, and that's what tonight's about. So you all enjoy yourself. I'm going to play some of my songs, and then we can go cool off, okay? Water's right there, beer's right there. Grab an album, and let's get to it. This song's called Where We Stand. We good? Everybody good? Okay, cool. Hear everything? All right, sweet. This next song is called Spring Days, and it's because I like spring and not summer. All right? So, here we go. This next track I'm going to play is called The Sun Will Shine, and this one actually just got picked up by Rock Rage Radio and is going to be played on 5 stations next week. So thank you. This is the first single I released from the album, and it's one of my favorite songs. No matter what you're going through or what you're facing, It's gonna sound cheesy, the sun will always shine. So let's get to it. Alright, that's it. I'm just
Yes, I already took 2 of them for me and my dad. No problem.
Oh yeah, it's it got jammed a little bit. Let's see. Let's see if I can fix this. Yeah. There we go. All right. This next track is called Pretty Little Bluebird, and it actually was a melody my sister used to sing many years ago. I was probably like 8 or 9. And it was just always catchy, and I decided to start playing it and recorded a song out of it. And then Jenny, my daughter, wherever she's at, hopped on the microphone, and she's at the very end of this song on the track. So, yeah, her first big hit. Cool. This is a Pretty Little Bluebird.
pretty birdie.
Hi, pretty birdie.
Pretty birdie.
Jenny Wallace, everyone.
Pretty birdie.
All right. And thank you all so much again. Thank you, mini pancakes over here. Yeah. Thank you so much to Taylor at True Leaf Studio. She's amazing, hardest working business owner I know. And obviously the Strung Up Sisters over here for opening up. Very talented ladies right here. I got a few more. This next one I might butcher it, but wherever Jessica Wallace is at, Jessica, hey, lady, babe, this song is for you. Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah. Oh. This one's called Light of the Day, and none of this would have been possible without her inspiring me to move up here, to make a change with my life. I have the best life ever, and it's because of you. So, I love you. I did not practice this one enough, though, so don't kill me. It's on tape. All right, here we go. Thank you guys. Is that good? All right.
Mama, can you do a cake?
Chicken girl?
Dad, can you do a cake?
In a minute, then.
Do you want to wait till you're done?
I'd like to thank my amazing friends Green West over here. They had a cake made for the event. Everybody gets a slice of cake. So Jess is going to break that out. I know, yeah. I didn't even think about that. I don't even know why. Are they sitting somewhere? They are. They're just going to fall down. I appreciate it. No, thank you. All right, so I got a couple more for you guys. So the next one is the title track, Roads, and it's a little bit of a heavier one, but Philip, this one's for you. So me and Philip have been friends since 4th grade, and heavy metal music has kept us alive and going and strong. So yeah. This song's called Roads. public library now, so if you guys want to donate Bibles, go right ahead. Appreciate that, dude. Thanks. All right. I got one more for you all, and we're really going to crank it for that guy out there. Yeah. This one's for you, bud. No, but for real, this song's called Fields, and this will be the last one. Be sure to talk to me after I jam, grab some snacks, and yeah, let's rock and roll. Come grab an album, talk to me, all that stuff. Have a lovely night. Thank you.